Okay, so we're going to continue our systems unit by talking a little bit about elimination. All right, so that's our learning target. So how do I solve systems using elimination? Really, the first thing that we need to know is this concept of opposites. Or really, when I'm talking about opposites, I'm thinking additive inverse. Okay, so what's the opposite of 5? Well, -5. And the reason for that is when I add them together, I get 0. So by the same token, if I said, what's the opposite of -11? You would say +11. Again, because if I add them together, I get 0. This still applies if we have a variable involved, like -7x. The opposite is +7x. Again, if I add those together, I get 0x. But 0 times anything is 0, so still 0. So these are called additive inverses, but also just opposites is how we can think of them. So this is also when we add something together and they end up equaling 0, we're really canceling them out or eliminating them. And that's where this elimination concept comes in. So when we're solving systems, we've learned 2 ways, graphing and substitution. And really with graphing, the best for us was to use this when both equations were in y equals form. And usually it was y equals mx plus b, because that's how we could enter them into the calculator. With substitution, we needed one of the equations to be x equals or maybe y equals. But when we have elimination, neither of the equations is going to have a x equals or a y equals. They're both going to be in standard form, maybe something like this. So you won't see an x equal or a y equal. You'll have to say, okay, now what do we do? And that's really what we're going to learn. And we're going to use a concept called elimination to cancel some stuff out. So we can get down to one variable. Okay, so here is the process. And this will be on your assignment and also in the corner as we go through these examples. But ultimately, we start by looking to see, making sure that both equations are in ax plus by equals c form. Again, that's really when we want to use this. And then you're going to have to multiply one or both of the equations that you get by something so that you're getting opposites of each other. Then we're going to add the equations together. Well, we should be able to solve for a variable, either x or y. We'll do a little substitution into one of our original equations, and then we should be able to solve for the other variable, okay? And then, of course, we'll still finish off with writing where they cross as an ordered pair, x comma y. All right, so here we go. We're going to try it, and the steps are in the corner. Now, you'll notice both of these equations are in ax plus by equals c form. X and y are on the same side, really. That's what it looks like. Now, step 2 is you're going to need to multiply one or two of the equations to get opposites. So what I want to look at is I want to look at my x's. I said, are those opposites? Well, 10x and -5x, no. -12y and +3y, these aren't opposites. Remember, opposites, one's positive, one's negative. We've got that, but we want them to be the same number, just one positive, one negative. So I have to figure out what's going to be easier to get rid of. Well, I could make both of these 10x, because 10 goes into 10 and 5 goes into 10. I just would need one of them to be negative. I could also make both of these 12, just one positive, one negative. That would work. So I think I just have to make a decision. And it looks like for me, I think I'm going to get rid of x here. So I'm going to make the bottom one -10x. If this is 10x, I need this to be -10x. And then these two are opposites, okay? So in order to do that, I have to multiply then the bottom by 2. That would work. Now, I can do that provided I multiply every single term here by 2. If I don't do that, then it's not a legal move. So I have to make everything multiply by 2. So let's do that. We're going to copy this first equation because we didn't do anything to that. It's just 10x minus 12y equals 16. Now the second equation, we're going to take this whole thing and multiply it by 2. So 2 times negative 5x is negative 10x. Now notice we have opposites. That's what we wanted. That's the whole point. All right, now we're going to do 2 times 3y. That's 6y. And then put my equal sign. And then don't forget this one either. 2 times 1 is 2. That's going to go here. Now I'm going to draw a line because it says the next step is we're going to add the equations together. So I want to add these together. I'm going to put a little plus sign in the corner here so I remember that I'm adding these together. Okay. Now, here we go. We're going to look right here. We say, all right, 10x plus negative 10x, these eliminate. They cancel out. Elimination, right? That's why we call it elimination. Now let's look right here, right? Negative 12y plus 6y is negative 6y. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. Bring my y down. Bring my equal sign down. Now I'm going to do 16 plus 2. That's 18. Okay, now I'm already at the spot where I can solve for y. This is a one-step equation now. I just need to get rid of this negative 6. It's negative 6 times y, so I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to divide by negative 6 on both sides. This is 1y, or just y, and this would be negative 3. Okay, cool. So I already know what y is. I've solved for the variable. That's step number 4. Step number 5 there says to substitute into one of the original equations. So I'm going to take y equals 3, and I'm either going to put it here and solve, or I could put it here. You're going to pick one of those equations. It does not matter, and I'm going to put it in for y because this is y equals. Okay, so I don't really care. It doesn't matter which one you use. You'll get the same answer. But I kind of like the second one here a little bit better because they're smaller numbers. So I'm going to plug y equals negative 3 in. And I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to replace it. So negative 5x plus 3. And now I'm going to put negative 3 in parentheses again because I'm substituting. And now I'm going to solve this. So I'm just going to multiply this. What does that equal? So I have negative 5x. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9, so I'm going to write minus 9 equals 1. Now I just want to solve this two-step equation. So let's see. To solve for x, I'm going to first need to get rid of that negative 9, so I'm going to add 9 to both sides. So I would have negative 5x. These cancel. Equals 10. And lastly, I want to divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. X equals negative 2. All right. So now I'm done, other than I just need to write my answer as an ordered pair. So x goes first, then y. So these two lines up here cross at this point. Negative 2, negative 3. That's what that means. And we just used elimination. And this time we had to multiply the bottom equation by something, in this case 2, to get opposites. Sometimes, though, we will have to multiply both equations, and that's what we're going to do next. So hopefully that makes sense. You'll get a little bit better at these as you practice more and more. All right, let's do another one. This time, you'll notice I've got negative 5x and 2x. Those are not opposites. And I have 2 and 3 y. Those are not opposites. Well, I got to figure out what could I multiply these by to get the same number. I need them to be the same number, just one positive, one negative. I could do these two and multiply so they both go into 10. But I think I might get rid of y here and make these both 6y. Just need one of them to be negative. So that means I need to multiply this equation by, let's make the top 6y. So we'll do multiply this top by 3 and this bottom one by negative 2 so that we could get this to be negative 6y. We need one of them to be negative. So let's do it. The first equation we're going to multiply by 3 so that this becomes 6y. The bottom equation we're going to multiply by negative 2 so that this becomes negative 6y. Okay. So our new equations. Now this time we're multiplying both equations. So I'm going to take that whole first equation and multiply by 3. So this will give me negative 15x plus 6y equals 96. All right. Now the second equation, we're multiplying everything by negative 2. Make sure you do everything here. So this would be negative 4x and then minus 6y. This was the goals. We wanted opposites here. We got opposites. And then equals negative 20. Okay. Now I'm going to add these together. So I'm going to put a little plus sign here. See what we get. Okay. Negative 15x plus negative 4x is negative 19x. 6y plus negative 6y, they cancel out. That's 0. That eliminates. And then 96 plus negative 20 is 76. All right. Now I need to solve for x. So this is multiplication here, so I'm going to divide by negative 19, do that on both sides. This gives me x equals, and this would be negative 4 if you type that into your calculator. All right. Now, you're going to take this and plug it in for x this time, either here or here. You're going to pick one of the original equations and substitute it in. Now, it doesn't matter which one you choose, you'll get the same answer. I just like the bottom one a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to choose the bottom one here. And I just plugged in negative 4 right there. That's all I did. Okay, so now I'm going to solve this. So 2 times negative 4, I need to multiply these first. That gives me negative 8 plus 3y equals 10. Okay, to solve for y, my next step is I got to get rid of that negative 8. So I'm going to add 8. Do that to both sides. These cancel. This would be 18. And now I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. So y equals 6. Okay, so now I've got my ordered pair. Make sure I write x first, so negative 4, then 6. Okay. And there's my answer. Now, if you would have eliminated x here instead and made these opposites and, like I said, make this one negative 10x and this one positive 10x, you still would have ended up with the same answer at the end. So it doesn't matter. Just do the way that you feel like makes the most sense or is easiest to you. But this would be where they cross, negative 4. 6 is where those lines cross. Remember, that's always what we're trying to find, is where the lines intersect. What point is that at? And sometimes it's easiest graphically. Sometimes we have to use algebra and use substitution or elimination. Now you've got 3 methods to figure out how to solve. So elimination can also be a little tricky, but once you practice, you'll get a lot better. Just like substitution, it takes a little practice and then you'll get pretty good. I hope this makes sense. Good luck on your assignment. See ya.